Thank you.
All right.
No.
Okay. Look at our live thing. See if it's working. Tell me if we have audio. Hey, you got the right thumbnail.
That's a start.
Are we starting? Do we have audio?
We have started.
And we have audio.
And we have audio.
Hey, you got the right thumbnail. All right.
Hooray!
We are coming at you live and in stereo, which is actually different. Usually on mono.
Yeah.
I flipped the stereo button trying to see if we have better audio. So Marvin's going to be watching. I forgot my laptop. I was preoccupied with picking up pieces of printer from my yard.
There was a lot.
And we figured before we clean up all the printer, there may be another one on its way, depending on how the weather holds out.
You know, we might get, just bottom line, it could be a colorful afternoon.
We're hoping for a colorful afternoon. The slight prediction of explosions.
Oh, brother.
Oh, brother.
There's a high pressure system coming in. I mean, it'll be okay.
There's a hint. Anyways, on today's topic list is I put firewalls, Java, because we put Java on pfSense. That's what the thumbnail is, for those of you wondering and didn't see the tweet on that. So, and the FreeNAS, which I just uploaded a video from this morning and didn't get published a little bit later. I was supposed to do Vlog Thursday. I don't always have a plan, which actually leads to what I was discussing before the vlog started, but my wife doesn't watch this, so I can talk about it. Fun use of technology, by the way, is making shrug gifs of yourself and sending them to my wife. Because my answer all the time is I don't know. Because I don't have opinions on a lot of things. And so,
especially when it comes to the things she asks about.
Yeah. She's like, what do you want to do this weekend? I don't know.
Tom has opinions and
wanna
will
hear
share
them?
them with you.
Yeah.
What do you want for dinner?
I don't know. Nothing. So I send shrug emojis all the time. So that happens.
That does tend to annoy the ladies because
Does it?
I get similar reactions.
I imagine you send similar shrugs.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't have an opinion on this. I have a server sitting here. It's one of my things I'm working on, and there's actually another server out of view. I ordered some more parts, and I have this. So I realize I have not done any videos on testing, and I realize there's a lack of videos in testing on what this is.
What is it, Tom?
What is it? It is SFP Plus connector, fiber optic.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Where did you get it?
It's
We were buying stuff on eBay, and this was in there, unannounced. So I said, hey.
It happened to be in a card still.
Happened to be in a card still. But I was thinking of doing some more hardware reviews. There just seems to be a lot of interest from a lot of people wanting to get in home labs set up. And on an exciting note, and this is kind of fun because it's come full circle. So many of you, if you've been in tech for a long time like I have, you probably remember the screensavers, Leo Laporte and is it Chris Norton? Or Ed Norton. What's his name?
Ed Norton is an actor.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah,
Ed Norton.
different. Peter Norton.
I think he's a porn star.
No, that's Peter Norton.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Anyways, they had the screensavers. Well, currently they have another show called Tech Thing that he does with Snubs, Shannon Morris, who's also on Hack 5. And they mentioned, round circle things, they mentioned my videos of the XCP and G videos I did. So I thought that was kind of cool. Because I'm like, I used to watch them on the screensavers. And I used to think they had a great show in early days of tech.
Speaking of that, really quick, Schmarvin said, thanks, Tom, we moved from ESXi to XCP and G. So
Awesome. So more videos are coming on that,
and they're migrating to SolarWinds.
And are migrating to SolarWinds. I'm a happy SolarWinds customer.
Yeah. No, it's a good product.
Trendsetters, that's us.
Yeah, trendsetters. Yeah, so there's that. So I'm ordered a handful of random hardware so I can talk about some more of it, about how these work and how they connect. And sorry, some bad with names. Someone tagged me on Twitter, and of course it was by their Twitter handle, I don't think by an actual name, that they got all this working following one of my videos, which is a 10 gigabit connection between a FreeNAS box and their XCP and G server. So I'm going to be doing some more videos about the different hardware and support. I also am going to order and try and make a list of some of the things that go into it, like different cards that are supported, different features and things like that, and why you want one card over another. So do a little bit of research and
where you
put
can
that
get
together.
cards.
Where you can get the cards.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, the Chelso, I think they're called, which people have asked me about those. They're a little bit harder to find but I don't completely understand the pricing on eBay. Why can I buy some of these cards for $20 and the others are $120? I'm actually researching the answer to that. I don't have it yet because I can't figure out why I would want the $120 used card versus the $15 used card or $25 used card.
That
Yes.
appears to just work.
Yeah, I know it's a slightly older model, but I don't know what's wrong with it. That it shouldn't, because it's the same chipset support in there. So, yeah, if someone knows a link and they want to email me like what the difference is between the new and used ones, I'm not going to post on Reddit because I don't mind admitting when I don't know something. So there is that.
Speaking of not knowing something, that was Patrick Norton,
Patrick Norton.
according to Jordan.
They're probably right.
Yeah.
I just know his last name's Norton.
Yeah, and then actually somebody had a question. They said, talking of home lab, do you have any tips, knowledge on high availability pfSense with dual WAN? Struggling to wrap my head around it.
Yes, it's a pain to set up. It's all done with, you have to learn specifically about CARP failover. It is the same. It is a free BSD. CARP failover is a failover system in BSD that is used by both FreeNAS and pfSense or any other people who just roll their own failover systems. So that's where you would go to research it. Setting it up and configuring it, that's a little bit more tricky. I recommend, like with the FreeNAS people, now good news is, they mentioned that they're working on making it easier inside of like the FreeNAS TrueNAS line, but it's still, even when we did the TrueNAS review, because they have the dual motherboards in there and it uses the CARP high availability failover, that does require an engineer to set it up. I mean, I watched what the engineer did. It's not like a secret to what they're doing, but there's some tediums that go into it. It's very, very picky, and you can end up just kind of breaking the configs when you're doing it. It's pretty cool, but
Somebody wants to know how the heck Arizona iced tea is still 99 cents.
Look, all I know is you could sometimes go to, the now defunct ACO and get them for cheaper.
yeah.
I used to pick those up for 69 cents, I think it was.
They have not kept up with inflation, but managed to stay in business. That is a mystery. That
Decent
is,
tea.
yeah, really confusing. So,
Andre said that he actually got a notification from YouTube for a change.
yay!
And he interrupted his viewing of another show to watch us.
Awesome.
So, thanks, man.
That is amazing. YouTube doing the thing that they're supposed to do.
Yeah, that is nuts.
And
Yeah.
us interrupting people, that's what we do.
Us
Well,
interrupting
that
people,
happens
that's
all the
not
time.
nuts.
That is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's not at all.
Channel sponsors. So this is really interesting, well, at least to me. I've had a lot more people reach out and want to sponsor channels, stuff like that. So I've been really picky about who I'll do before I turn a channel into too many advertisements or anything like that. I'm trying to keep it sane. And as long as people keep hiring us and throwing money at us, we don't really, we don't need a channel sponsor. So if someone just keeps flinging those dollars, hey,
Making it rain.
We
Make
don't
it
want to
rain.
have to put commercials like mid-video. Like, oh, by the way, I use this VPN product.
Yeah.
That kind
Or
of
by
thing.
the way,
Or yeah, maybe. I mean, we could totally do product placement. With
Yeah.
Arizona and
I don't want
Monster.
product placement.
Actually, if Arizona wants to send me some, because I'm, just
Yeah. Yeah, no, if Arizona Tea would like to sponsor us. But I
Yeah.
don't think they're, with that 99-cent price tag, I don't think they have a big ad budget.
Monster could sponsor us though.
Monster, because we do
Yeah.
dumb things. That's all.
Hey, we got
Yeah.
£5 from Stephen Kelly,
Woo-hoo. I think that's like
or
10
€5, whatever. Is that that's a euro, right?
I don't know
think
the
it's
symbols.
euros or lira.
Lira. Lira, Libre. That's okay.
Pretty
I'm
sure
okay
that's a
with
pound.
this.
Is
So
it
that's
pound or
we've been
something?
looking
Yeah.
at it, but one of the Firewall company, I think they're a Firewall company. They sent an email from the domain, want to know if I'd review their firewall. They sent me a link to their website, and there's nothing but talk about the firewall. No software downloads and no pictures of hardware, no specs. Lots of features, all kinds of feature lists.
right.
So I'm really,
Okay.
yeah. I emailed them back and I said I'd be interested, but I'd like to know some details about your firewall. And based on its name, what it has in the name is the WRT. That's not the full name of it. I'm assuming it's based on that.
Well,
Yeah.
WTF?
But what WTF is? I think it's based on DDWRT because it's in the name. They have a lot of feature sets, but I'm really confused as to what the actual hardware they have is. It's kind of mysterious. So I emailed them back. I'd be interested. Those are some of the sponsorship videos I wouldn't mind doing, and I might reach out to our friends at ServerMonkey to talk about some hardware. If they could send me a bunch of hardware, I'd do the testing, and that kind of sponsorship opportunities I'm looking
Put in some
into.
server monkey links,
Oh yeah, I don't mind throwing some monkey links in there for where you can get this hardware, and then I can do some talks about the hardware. They themselves have actually done some videos. Them and one other, I think it was SilverMonkey or one other company that sells hardware, has done a couple reviews, but they're very sporadic. I'm like, hey, just send me a bunch of stuff. I like reviewing things. I like playing with all this stuff. You know, hey, I'd like to talk about all these network cards, where you can get them and why you should buy them and all that fun stuff. So those are definitely the sponsorship and alignments I'm going to work towards, because those seem to be popular videos. People like them, and that's kind of what this channel is. Me throwing up over 500 videos, just throwing them over the channel and going, that one got views, that one got views, and that's my decision making process. You know.
We also like playing with new things. Tom likes learning new things.
I fidget with things too. So if you're a sponsor and you'd like to send me something to fidget with,
Fidget thingies.
We do have a lot of fidget thingies already.
We
ordered
do,
a lot
yeah.
of fidget thingies.
Yeah.
but it turns out fidgeting with SFP Plus way more fun.
Well,
True.
it's probably faster too.
Probably it's 10 gigabit of fidgets.
Yeah.
10 gig fidgets.
By the way, that was a pound or quid.
Quid.
Quid. It was 5 quid.
I like quids.
5 quid he sent us.
5 quid.
So thanks for that.
I'm happy whenever I hear that. And what is that? Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. And what's the other Guy Ritchie movie? My two favorite.
Snatch.
Snatch. Oh, my two favorite gangster movies in England.
Those two?
Yeah. I think those
Are
are pretty good.
they the only gangster movies from
Oh
England?
no. Well, I got Peaky Blinders.
Oh, Peaky Blinders. Yeah, of course. That's a
That
great
one's
show.
a great show.
That is a fantastic show. I
Yeah.
got all caught up, and they need to.
Before I get too distracted, but on the topic of things that are cool, I did finish a couple books. I finished the book Sapiens, which was a good read. Me and Marvin were talking about that. And
I'm
another
reading
one
it right
called-
now. We're
Yeah, he's
listening
reading
to
that
it.
one now, listening to it. And another one is Quirky. Just finished that book. Because someone asked me if I had a list, and I'm going to post more of them on thomaslawrence.com. I got to do, maybe I'll do a little bit of write-up
You
of
have an
Sapiens.
old list.
I have an old list. I have
Yeah.
I read a lot of books. So, yeah, people ask me what books I read before. Most of them are technical in nature, but some of them are also like Elon Musk's book or other entrepreneurs, Alexis Ohanian, lots of other tech entrepreneurs that I like. I've often read their books. So those are some of my offshoots of randomness.
The Sapiens book is really, really interesting.
Yes.
Whether or not you're into archaeology or
Evolution and
anthropology or whatever,
anthropology of the human.
it's just an interesting book. I would highly recommend it as well.
Yeah, so that's it there. So I won't get too deep on that topic. Other things though, FreeNAS. I am doing a whole bunch of FreeNAS stuff. So I realized I didn't, and I think I still have them laying over here. I did some testing with FreeNAS for 6 months on a bunch of random hard drives, because this question comes up a lot. Can I mix and match all these drives? Well, I know the technical answer is, it's not a good idea. The specific answer is, how will it work? And we happen to have stuff laying around. So I did some testing, I have some results, and then I'm going to do some more testing with more random servers and hardware to try and show people different FreeNAS ideas and configuration ideas. And I want to do some deeper testing. Now that they're going to the 11.2, which the beta comes out Monday, they have the new I/O cage and the new UI and better jail support, better VMs, I believe. So there's going to be some deeper dives into some of that technology, which is going to be kind of exciting. Because it would solve some problems being able to run everything inside of there. I mean, I still like XCP-NG, and I think FreeNAS makes a good storage with that. But there's the times when we want to run like a UniFi system and do that. Speaking of which, on our website, things you can buy. We're working on that. We have offerings of different UniFi servers we'll build for you and things like that. So things and stuff in the UniFi
Packages
things.
with the camera, with just the NVR, or we can get you the cameras as well, and then you.
Because by the way, we're for hire. That's actually
Occasionally we do things for people for money.
We do things for people for money, and that's actually what funds all this channel, because it sure to hell isn't YouTube.
Well,
Yeah. I mean, don't worry. I appreciate every penny I get from YouTube.
oh sure.
But it is not where any of the money really comes from. Is
Yeah.
from the actual YouTube.
And it's a bit volatile.
It's a bit volatile.
Well, yeah. At any minute, YouTube can just decide to change things, and now no more
Yeah,
money comes in.
demonetize your channel and things
Yeah.
like that. I made sure I never set out with the goal that my money to pay my bills is going to come from YouTube. That's a scary and tough proposition. I know people do it. My cousin does very, very well with it, which is awesome.
She's watching, by the way. She said hi.
Oh,
earlier.
hey, awesome. She does well with YouTube, but she knows too. She's diversified into other things for the same reason of, hey, I got this income source and that income source. And, she's smart with money, because you can't say, hey, because if YouTube changes your mind and you get all of it from one place and your platform is this, you have a problem. So, yeah.
We've been doing a lot more like setup stuff for people remotely, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
lately
kind
the
of-
remote has ramped up.
Yep, and that's we plan to ramp it up more. We like doing all this. If you're an IT company and you need help with stuff, we're trying to figure out how to offer the consulting things. I don't mind talking to people, but then it opens up the floodgates of so many people want to call and talk. It starts out with, I've helped people set up their home. We've helped some people against our even judgment. We've set up servers for them in different ways. We've done,
A couple times, I don't recommend doing it this way, but if you pay me, I will do it.
That's been my answer. This is not how I think you should set it up, but if this is how you want to set it up and you're paying, fine. Well, we will do that.
To paraphrase a statement from several shows ago, you can't always fix wrong, but you can bill it $150 an hour.
Oh,
Yep. Yep, I can't fix it, but I can bill for it. Yeah. So, but we've been setting up more, and I guess that's something that I've also thought about, like just general consulting in terms of helping people run an IT company and things like that. I'm trying to figure out how to open up time blocks just for that, for general consulting. But how to set up your stack, how to set up your screen connector. If you want to run your company in a similar way to mine, which I think is a good idea, by the way.
So far, it's working. I'm still employed.
He's still employed. He's still employed.
So far.
Still employed. Yeah, so far. Till it all falls apart.
Yeah.
We've only been doing it for 15 years. No guarantees for tomorrow.
No.
But
Somebody asked, any experience with GPU pass-through on Zen?
I don't know how well supported it is all. There are some pass-through write-ups that I've Googled around and found. I don't know. I don't have much of a use for it. There's a better project for doing that. If you go to Level 1 Linux, the Level 1 YouTube channel, they have some very specific videos on setting that up for GPU pass-through, so you can run things like Windows.
But specifically on Zen, or
No, it's a
Okay.
different. I think it's Vert.io is that they're using. It's a different platform they use because it's. Matter of fact, they're working with the developers to completely develop a system to make that simpler, but it's still not simple. You're taking hardware and passing it through a hypervisor directly to the sheet. Now, because most of my Zen server stuff or things that we're doing in the cloud
There's
for clients,
storage servers and the like, not anything that requires GPU power.
they don't require GPU, and there's not really a need because we're just spinning up a bunch of VMs and self-hosting them, so to speak, rather than putting them into an AWS instance or any other cloud provider. So it's a different scenario that we're generally working towards. For example, we're setting up Apache servers. We actually done this for several clients, build out their Apache server stacks and all the whatever they need as a base to run things, whether that be Apache, whether that be hosting something in the cloud for some other services they have, database servers. There's never a need for GPU pass-through in the scenarios that we mostly deal with. Most of the time when someone wants GPU pass-through, it's because they have some, they go, hey, I really want to run this Windows game, but I don't want to have to reboot into another VM, so I want to be able to boot Windows without shutting my computer down or doing a multi-boot and have it spin up and then pass the hardware through. That's cool and whatnot, but I haven't spent much time on it. I don't play enough games. The only game I've been playing, like I mentioned last Thursday, was Destiny 2. Yeah.
And he plays it on a Windows machine because he didn't feel like dealing with hardware pass-through.
Yep.
His only Windows machine is an actual gaming machine.
Yeah, my only Windows computer is a gaming computer that the kids play with most of the time.
Well, that's a good segue because somebody else asked, what about Windows server on Zen?
Well, we have one.
Yeah, that works.
It works. I take that back. We did a couple deployments. One of them has like 5 or 6 Windows servers on there. It works. They haven't had any issues.
We migrated from to Zen. We actually moved them.
We moved a couple of them from Zen and they had a mixed bag of
Zen and
ESXi. So that was kind of a mess. So we consolidated everything on Zen. They had more Zen servers than they had ESXi's. So now it's all on one big beefy Zen server for all that stuff. And then with a backup Zen server for failovers.
Yep. All right, let's do a rapid fire. What kind of Wi-Fi network would you recommend for a 4-room apartment? I have a UniFi AP Lite right now.
Go for it. If it reaches all the rooms in an apartment, go for it.
Yeah.
Or go with the AC if you need that AC speeds. So that's definitely an option there.
Or if you want the entire apartment covered, get an LR.
Yeah, the ACLR, that would probably be enough for an entire apartment without a problem.
It really comes down to get the UniFi has, is it the network testing tool you can run on a phone? You can see your strengths from all your rooms, and then you find out from there, like, is this enough? If not, you just add another access point, move it somewhere else.
Any recommendation for backup software for ESXi?
Veeam is popular. I like the SolarWinds backup. I like the Cloudberry backup. I've not used Veeam. I just know Veeam is like certified for ESXi. It's supposed to work good. I've never used it. I'm only talking from other technicians that told me they really think it's a great tool. Other than that, ESXi, I mean, you can just export all the snapshots out. You know, for local backups, you can run SolarWinds, and it does bare metal backups. Those work really well, even if they are virtualized. So,
All right.
I got all the questions.
I thought there were more questions, but they were actually questions asking of other people in the thing.
There's something else I wanted to get to. What is this vlog titled?
Java Firewall sponsors and 4th of July.
Yeah, 4th of July. 4th of July was fun. We blew up the printer. We talked about that already. So
Yeah.
I think we actually covered the topics I wanted to hit. The other ones are, man, there was one other thing that was on the tip of my tongue, but I got distracted playing with things and fidgeting.
Yeah.
Was it actually like a work related thing, or
Oh,
was
yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
the bowl
Definitely
of meat
work
we were
related.
eating earlier?
Oh, the bowl of meat.
We were originally going to do Vlog Thursday with just a bowl of
With
meat
just us
sitting
eating a bowl
between
of
us.
meat, it
I got on
didn't
the phone.
last long enough.
Yeah.
So, oh well.
All the fun there.
Nah, what are you going to do? Maybe,
What are you gonna do?
I think maybe Tom should smoke some more meat and bring it in for next week's Vlog Thursday.
Fair enough, I can
I
do
mean,
that.
the people demand it.
People demand the
Did
meats.
anybody actually ask for meat?
Hey guys, ask
Will
for...
somebody at least put in, we want to see the bowl of meat?
Yeah, come on.
That way
We
he-
had a giant. We have consumed a giant bowl of
Yeah,
meat.
it was a...
Yes. I assume the yes is to the bowl of meat.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. I like, because at one point Kyle was like pulling out like 3 or 4 pieces to heat up, and Tom was like, just put the whole bowl in. Because you knew we were going to eat it.
It's how it
So,
generally works.
yeah,
out.
we want to see the bowl of meat.
Yeah, okay.
This is the people demanding.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Do you host your own website locally?
No, I don't. That's a bad idea. Unless you have unless you're putting it in a data center. Just too many hits. That's what I wanted to talk about.
There you
No.
go. See?
So that
Helpful.
was where I was starting
Thank
to
you,
wonder
random
out-
stranger. Who was
That,
that?
Jeff Harding.
Well, thank
Yes.
you, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
So this has come up, and I tweeted this, and maybe I'll do a debrief on it. I want to get in contact with the people. Maybe I just haven't reached out to them, so I haven't tried. I know how to. They've got a contact us button, but there's a website. If you follow any type of home lab or done your own server builds, you may have heard of a website. It's called like Serve the Home. I think it's what it's called, Serve the Home. Anyways. They have a great breakdown that I tweeted out, which is their falling from the sky, which is
Okay.
moving off of cloud hosting.
Oh, yeah.
And they saved, I think it was roughly $12,000 a year by moving off of it. Now, this is something I've talked about too, because we have so many VMs.
Welcome back.
So, welcome back, Steve.
I just want my phone.
Seat's
Actually.
open.
Oh,
Actually, I have my phone. Apparently, I'm missing my 3DS.
Oh, you're missing your 3DS? There you go. So,
Bye, Steve.
Yeah.
thanks, Steve. But they did a very analytical breakdown, hardware, including, of course, they understand costs very well because they broke down not just server hosting costs with AWS, they broke down storage costs, VM costs, bandwidth costs, wattage costs, costs of buying the hardware on a 2-year cycle and a 3-year cycle, I think, for the networking upgrades. So their budget included like life cycle costs of all the hardware, and a very detailed report where they broke it all down. It's a little bit of an in-depth read, but this was really important because what they did was, here is you running in Amazon, no problem, like just spin it up. And of course, the way it scales, if you use the elastic Amazon servers, it scales upward really easy. Going, hey, I have a lot of hits on my website, dial it up a notch, dial it up a notch. Of course, that comes with the bill. And if you're trying to do fast growth or you don't have predictable numbers for how popular your product is, then you don't know what your server hosting costs are, because if you become very successful, like Snapchat, who runs on the Amazon servers, it scales upwards. So they were able to just keep adding more and more Amazon instances to scale their product to a global scale. That's awesome because you don't know how much hardware to buy. They know how much workload they're under. So now they have these repeatable statistics. This is what our average growth rate is. These are how many hits we get a day. This is how much compute time we need. This is well established, so they can build servers and put them in a colo. But it's kind of the point I made about some of this, of how much cheaper it is when you have a predictable workload and you need a certain amount of storage just to run things either in a colo, or we run it here at our office, which does not have, we don't have a building-wide redundancy But if there's no power here, it's not the servers that are a problem.
Right.
We don't have anything to do either.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's one of those things where this is important, but it's also one of those scalability thinking about things. And one guy that we recently did some work with, at first I thought he was trying to do it at his house, which I thought was a bad idea. But it turns out he's putting it in a colo, so I'm fine with that. And that's where you have to think about where you're going to put stuff. Colos aren't too expensive, depending on where you go. You can find a couple of U's of rack space pretty reasonable. You can build yourself a small 2U server, slide it in there, virtualize everything, and have something relatively fast for a reasonable monthly fee, and have all the other features you get with a colo. And I thought about breaking down some of the pricing on that. Me and Phil, because he does so much of that, if I can pull him away for a minute, we talked about doing a little talk called Linux and Beer.
Yes.
That sounds like a good show.
Yeah, sounds like a good show. Phil, come in here. And because he does a lot of that decision making for large companies at scale, we sit and talk about some of those pricing and things like that. He's a certified AWS guy. He's done major large scale AWS. But that also gives him the insight of when you don't use AWS for things. He's come in and looked at companies going, did you just want to give Amazon a lot of money? Because someone told them, buy all this. And they just thought that's how much it cost. And then he looked at their actual usage and goes, I can move you over to this for 1/4 of the price, your one-time fee to me. You'll save the first 30 days of this project.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're talking like some of these cloud places, like the Serve the Home was like, $36,000 a year was their hosting. I mean, it's not. It does add up. If you start getting a really busy website, if you just want to play around with it at home, is okay. But as soon as you have any amount of hits, if you look it up, we are actually we lease space from A2 Hosting. Ann Arbor is really close to us. It's been a little bit of ups and downs, a few more downs than we'd like from A2 Hosting. They've had some they had data center outages, which are pretty rare, but they happened twice in 2 weeks, so it didn't feel rare at all.
It actually happened 3 times, but the third one was Michigan only.
Yeah, third time was Michigan only, so only people in Michigan couldn't get to the Michigan data center. But I don't know if these are BGP errors. I wish their debriefs were better. They weren't. It sucked. But so there's times hosting for just general web stuff though, so cheap. It's only special applications that you really want to take the time to build a server for or host. Web hosting is nothing now. You can get hosting. Even we're only charging $120 a year just for web hosting. That's just not that expensive.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We have a few people commenting. They said they want to see more HP printers sent to death.
Yes.
Louise says you don't want to see our AWS bill.
Yeah.
Somebody wants us to do an office space vlog. So I guess what is it you say you do here?
Yeah.
There was a question. What are your opinions on splicing fiber? Do you guys do these with any of your builds?
Currently, no. We've outsourced it. We don't have the tools. I've thought about doing it. It doesn't look too hard to do. I've outsourced that. I know other people that do it, and I contract them to do it. We just have very, very few calls for it. For example, we pulled a bunch of fiber for AT&T, but as a contractor. By doing that, the way we did it was always the same. We pulled the fiber. We know how to do everything else. We bring it to there. They usually leave a service loop of a couple feet. And the way fiber, usually you have to wrap it around and bring it because you have the certain angles you do it at. Then that's it. They actually will come in and do the final connector and testing at the same time. So we haven't really had a big demand for it either. We don't see that much fiber around here.
Yeah.
We have gigabit cable. So
what about intranet hosting?
what about it? Do it. I don't know. I don't understand.
At that point, it's probably
question.
self-hosted.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably going to be self-hosted. That you generally, with an intranet, unless you're a massive company, but even then, you generally have some servers you can spin up and move it all internally. So I guess it just depends on what you want. Technically, what we do is a lot of intranet with ourselves. Technically, our Wikipedia is an intranet. It's only accessible via a twice locked down VPN, and it's only accessible by certain authorized computers on our network on a separate network that we have.
How do you plan on switching to Proton Mail when the Linux bridge isn't available?
I don't know. Don't have an answer for that. I don't use Proton Mail, so I don't know.
Does it start?
Yeah, I mean, Proton Mail, I get the idea. We want to make an attempt at secure email, but that's an oxymoron. There's secure email. No, it's not really secure. emails passed in the open. It's not a secure channel of communication. Passwords and other confidential documents should never be sent via email. Don't worry, they have been all the time. It happens daily. They should not be. I don't care who you use for that. The transport layer, now granted, someone's going to point out the EFF is working on a new Start TLS Everywhere program to try to get everyone to encrypt their mail servers. Awesome, I'm all for it. I like more security being added at the transport layer, but I know we're not there right now, and the default is unencrypted transport on port 25 through plain text transfers. That's how email goes through. So I never thought about securing email. Now, if you GPG encrypt the email itself back and forth to me, or use key-based I/O like I used, and you want to send me a secure message, absolutely you can. There's plenty of ways to encrypt them. You just don't bother assuming the transport layer is encrypted or the storage of emails, even though what ProtonMail claims at some point they're decrypting it. And I've not really looked at the technology behind it, but it's still the concept of the transport layer is a problem. Don't use email.
We need to say thank you to Jonathan Southwell. He sent us $10 and said thanks for the PF Sense videos.
Hey, awesome.
So thanks, Jonathan. And then somebody asked, do you guys try any air fiber point-to-point?
Not any air fiber yet.
I don't think we've used the air fiber ones.
I'm hoping we have, and I'll talk to him after 4th of July. He's someone who watches the show who's local, and he's talked about a large building to building project.
Okay.
I think he's got, was there 4 buildings or 5 buildings? I think it's 5.
I'm unsure.
I don't know. They want to fund a 5-building project. They own some high-rises in the Detroit area that are all within line of sight with each other. One is outside the range a little bit, but we think we can hop the one building that's actually in between the two. That would be a fun video because he knows we do videos, so he doesn't mind us talking about doing a video on it. So I actually talked when we've done a preliminary talk. We did some other work for him, and so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
So we may be using some air fiber stuff.
Are there any good books, tutorials for networking?
I don't know. This is like one of my challenges. I've been doing networking since there was networking, so I don't know where to tell people to start because the books that I read in the 90s are completely useless to you right now.
So my dad actually went to college for networking, computer information systems. And he goes, I have some of my old books. Okay, and he hands me a book. It's a Linux book that has a floppy attached to it with its own Linux distribution.
Wow.
This is not going to be as helpful as I would like it to be.
Yeah. So it becomes a little hard. But that being said, there's plenty of. I should probably make a list of some that are decent.
Even not books. There's plenty of resources online, so it doesn't, I guess, necessarily have to be a book.
There's a lot of good tutorials on networking on YouTube that I found. I should probably compile a list of them.
Just in general, just getting
in
started
general,
with
getting
networking.
started with it.
Oh.
Somebody said, so you were part of ARPANET.
Yeah. Look, so this is called a twin-ax connector. Back in my day, we used to look up IBM twin-ax connectors. That's what I started with, was token ring and twin-ax connectors. Look, it's been a minute, so the stuff I learned on is like in museums, because these networks were set up in the 80s, and I started maintaining them in the 90s. And there was a lot longer life cycle of networks back then, because the technology was pushing fast, but not that fast. I use Lantastic and Novell NetWare and all kinds of things that are long since dead.
Tom kicks it old school.
I kick it old school, man.
He's an OG.
OG. I was using Finger and what was the other tool? Man, I don't remember.
What, using your finger?
Using
Wait,
my
what?
finger.
I didn't say anything.
Wait,
Look,
hold on.
I did it because I knew Marvin's ears would perk
Hold
up
on,
that.
wait, what?
Yes. Oh,
Well,
come on.
thanks for joining us, Steve, but I think we're about to wrap up.
Okay.
He was
I'm
with
just
the
here so I
customer.
don't get fined.
Yeah, he was with the
Nick
customer.
P., our friend from Indiana. Hi, Nick. He wants to know if, I think he may be kidding, but he said, I was going to school for Cisco. Is it worth going back to finish?
No.
As somebody who went to school for Cisco, he might be the one to listen to.
I actually didn't go to school for Cisco, so I'm going to completely let Steve answer. Who did go to school for Cisco?
No. The best parts, though, were like the switching and basic routing classes.
So
Those
not
were
necessarily the Cisco stuff, but just the
the
general
basic
network
networking.
knowledge.
Yeah, because other than like of all the classes, that one actually taught you the most networking stuff. Like,
So do you know a good book? Somebody asked for a
You
networking
know-
book.
I know a good song by Cisco. It's the Thong Song.
Cisco had their own program called Packet Tracer. You could probably find. You're not supposed to be able to get it unless you're like enrolled in the program, but you can find cracked copies and repositories of it everywhere.
That we don't.
No.
we don't.
we
can
know-
know.
we don't endorse.
Punch it in Google.
You know,
It was great for, and it actually had emulators of all the Cisco command line stuff. And if you went to school for Cisco, you probably played with this. But that was a good thing for learning like some of the basic networking.
and I'll admit too, when I was doing my some research about the Wi-Fi channel bonding and how that works with the different channel widths, before I came up with the website that I did, one of the other ones that had some, it kind of took me down another rabbit hole, but also good Wi-Fi articles was Meraki. I may not be the biggest fan of their gear, but their blog is pretty on point. So
I just went to Wikipedia
yeah, well, no, they.
and looked at the spreadsheet of, oh yeah, when you merge all these channels, it go fast.
Yeah, there's a lot of technical details about how the QAP protocol works and everything else. So there's some really good write-ups you can find. And so some of the Cisco classes, in terms of just learning general networking, not bad at all. Cisco pioneered a lot of that. I don't know who came up with VLANs, but I always associated Cisco as the very first equipment that could always do it. I'm sure there's some other equipment, and I was probably wrong, and maybe they just
Right.
popularized it, but when you set up VLANs years ago, you pretty much only did that
Yeah.
at Cisco. I couldn't name another piece of hardware in 15 years ago, 16 years ago. Whenever I started doing VLANs, it's been a minute, it was always Cisco equipment.
That being said, Cisco certs do look good on paper.
They do.
So-
And there's
Except you got to redo them every 3 years.
Well, yeah.
yeah, I mean, and here's the thing. There's nothing wrong. You get those Cisco certs, you can make good money with it.
Yes.
I've talked about this before. There's different theories of how you can do things. I've always been more, and so is Steve, and actually so is other people at this table, generally subversive to organized systems of working for corporate places and things like that. But if you go, I want to get in IT for the money, there's a lot of companies that go, I don't care if it works or not. They're not concerned about that. They like seeing the Cisco on there.
Yeah.
I have stock in that company, and my company will use that product. Whatever, I don't care. And some corporate companies are just like that, and that's fine. And you may get a great job working there that pays well. And
You want some easy money? Learn AS400 IBM.
Oh,
Learn
There's a
something.
reason you
Learn
don't touch a
defunct
job in
technologies.
Yeah, there's a reason you don't touch a job in that for less than 6 digits.
yeah.
Companies will pay you 6 digits because replacing the system costs 8 digits.
Yeah. So we know people that work in that film. Oh, I tweeted this out too about the job market right now. This was a survey done by Dice.com, and the Dice.com is a hiring place, and in coordination with the Linux Foundation. And right now, absolutely the highest demand, up I think they said 70% up from just last year, are people looking for Linux admins. So if you're looking to get started on that, I got to work on an offer code for you because I'm working on Linux Foundation as a sponsor. I got approved. I got to fill out paperwork still.
Which means it won't happen anytime soon.
Oh, it'll happen pretty soon.
Somewhat soon.
There better be a deadline on
The
it.
Linux Foundation offers classes on Linux, and I'll get an offer code really soon. I'm actually going to talk about the classes they offer too. But a lot of people ask how to get started with Linux, and I tell you, it's not just kind of like sort of a fast-growing job market. Like literally, they're dying to get people, and these are your average RHCE makes about $90,000 a year plus, depending on the other certifications you have. So our Red Hat certified engineer, there's a lot of other ones related to that. Basically, Linux sysadmins with experience is what they're looking for. Best way to get experience, grab some old servers, load some Linux, pick a project, try to make it chooch. Go from there. It's not hard to get started learning. You just pick some project. You go, hey, I want to build that wiki or whatever, and start learning Linux commands. Go through the tutorials. They have all these classes on there. And they're relatively inexpensive, especially when you look at compared to like what a college course will cost you. And by the way,
There's
these
their
Linux
intro.
jobs-
Their intro class. They have a what is it? It's like a 10 class like intro is free.
Yeah.
It's totally free to
You
like
get the
just to
first
get
10 for
started,
free.
and it's pretty. Like I started going through it. Like I mean, you learn a lot. It's not just a. I mean, you get into like command stuff, and I mean, it's
Yep.
not just a here's Linux and you can make it pretty, and. yay Ubuntu. It's you know
Yeah,
like
right.
it's like get into it and build do a build. So
Yeah, and it's you got to get started somewhere, and it's never a better time to start. The only better time to start would have been yesterday. So
Very motivational.
I'm feeling motivational today. Steve is not feeling motivated.
Yesterday was food day.
That shit was food day.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
yeah.
the 4th.
I know.
So
That's why you're feeling motivated today, or that's why you're not motivated. I don't know. It's hot outside.
yeah.
It is.
stay inside, learn Linux.
Stay inside. Learn Linux.
There you go. That's it. That's the quote of the day.
Stay inside and learn Linux. I think that's all I have to babble about.
Yeah,
for today.
there were a few questions, but you can hit us up or
Throw them at me
email
real
or.
quick. I'll do
Well,
them
that's
rapid
speed
fine.
round.
I got to go through them. All right, speed round. So let's see. Are you guys using containers? If so, what containers and what orchestrator?
I bought these containers at the dollar store.
That was
Yeah,
just
I
gonna say,
was
we
gonna
already
actually
talked. We
say.
already talked about Arizona, so
Yeah.
Tupperware.
We maybe will do some videos on containers. I'm not much of an expert at them. I
Because
delegate
you
that.
virtualize everything, don't you?
I
for the
generally
most
like
part?
everything in a virtual VM. Containers are, when you don't have as many resources, containers are nice and lightweight. Phil has done a lot more work with containers. He's talked about doing a video with me on containers and setting them up. So not a big container person, but I will be doing some container talk when I do the new version of FreeNAS because it's got support coming for it.
More containers.
More
all right.
containers.
You've mentioned Cloudberry. I know you did a video, but have you actually used it? Thoughts on it? They
Yeah.
removed FTP support.
I did not know they removed FTP support, but it's 2018. Why are you using FTP support? Yes, we're using it in production, but we're not using FTP. They also support SSH keyed support. So if you need something basic like FTP, SSH key support is in there.
Schmarvin would love to collaborate with another MSP for General Tech Talk. Hit Tom up.
Yeah. There's also join some groups too. There's a lot of online groups like the Facebook groups. There's some value in there.
A client needs to view live cameras. Looking into UniFi video, buying a computer doesn't justify cost, and he's not tech savvy. What can we do to view about 6 cameras live on a monitor/TV?
But you don't want to buy a.
Yeah, that
I don't know.
that doesn't.
We buy a UniFi system.
Yeah.
You can view the cameras live on a UniFi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phone.
If
Yeah.
you're looking
Tablet.
if you're looking for like 6 cameras, the pre-built UniFis, the ones the MVRs they sell will do that.
Yeah.
And then you just
Saves you a
log
few
in.
dollars.
Yeah.
Up to a TV.
Let's see. Are you hiring?
No.
I guess that's about it.
Okay.
Oh.
Aw.
Yeah, sorry.
You're not very inquisitive today, crowd.
Yeah.
We love you anyways, though.
On,
Yeah,
a fun,
that's-
on a fun side note, some news story that I found really amusing this week. New Samsung phones, specifically.
Oh, yes.
I know they were saying the S9s and the S9 Pluses, and I think the Note 8s. There's a new software bug that came out. They believe it's related to when carriers started turning on the rich chat protocols. They now send out random photos from your camera gallery to random contacts in your address book.
Yes.
It doesn't let you know when it's happening, but apparently some people have gotten like entire photo albums sent out to random contacts, which I find to be one of the most hilarious bugs.
Yes.
Fantastic.
That is great.
Like
so-
why is Grandma getting dank memes at 3 in the morning?
I'll also comment on this. I've been thinking about because we put together so much security talk for our SMLR. That I thought about following that up with going Security Sunday and putting the same roundup of topics we covered. Even though I'm covering YouTube, it's not always the same audience on both.
Yeah.
And we talk about different things in there. So maybe doing an added segment for Security Sunday because some of the security stuff is just so off the wall. And we
I've
take the
been-
time to research it all. So.
Yeah, I've been following a security podcast, which off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you the name of it because it's just in a long list of things that I listen to in the morning. But those stories are the most interesting some of the times. It's some of the most off the wall, how did something get breached? Or,
Yeah.
how did something get leaked? It's amazing stuff.
Me and my friends were just having a discussion this morning on the Gen 2 debrief. Their GitHub got compromised. And the debrief was sad. It was password scheme figured out. They were not using proper two-factor, and they had a password scheme. So when their password was compromised on a website,
It got compromised for everybody else.
yeah, my guess would be it was whatever their password was, space GitHub. space Facebook space whatever, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there was a password scheme in place, so someone thought they were clever by probably just putting the name of the website within the password. And I'm like, oh look, I bet this password if I change the name of the website and it works. Oh look, it worked. Now we have to get out.
Yay.
Back to the camera question. Pre-built NVR is going to go in for recording, but we have no way of viewing it without having to buy an additional computer to view.
Oh, so on site,
Yeah,
how do you view
can't
it?
use phone. He wants it on his desk. He still uses flip phones.
Does he have a computer there already? Because if he has a computer there already, you can
Just put a second monitor on there.
Yeah, put a second monitor on the
We did that for a
existing
couple
computer.
clients that didn't. They didn't realize you can put two monitors on one computer.
Any computer that is there can log into it via the web.
Yep.
So
If you need more help, feel free to call us.
Yeah.
Or message us on the Face Spaces or email support@lawrencesystems.com.
Yeah, all those places. We try
Yeah.
to get back with everybody.
Mm-hmm. But now we're going to go because we all have things to do.
Yep.
speak for
There's.
yourself.
We got to go blow
Kyle
things
lost.
up.
Oh yeah.
No, that's true.
We got stuff we're gonna wreck.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wreck it.
Watch for another explosion video.
Yes.
Coming
Hopefully
soon.
not involving us. Well, sort of
involving,
involving
but like
us.
not. Hopefully there will be 20 fingers tomorrow when everybody gets here.
Yes.
No, I'm sorry, 40 because we all have.
I was
Yeah,
concerned.
sorry.
I was too.
So hopefully there will be at least 20. We can
least
all at least
20.
use a hand.
All
We
right.
can lose a hand, but
That's a lot of hands.
see y'all next week.
Yep.
Bye.
See y'all next week.
Somebody's got to turn off the live stream.
Now we're just gonna sit here.
Yeah. Now we just sit here awkwardly.
I just awkwardly stare at it.
Do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah.